Well, what about that? Getting on with this N2400 of Vintage Sounds 14. James is quite happily had, oh Lord, talk about what a shitty job, as the sewer man said. Had quite a number of things wrong, this did. I did end up having to change the main belt as well as the counter belt that he wanted changing. Also oiled the motor bearing at the top end. You can't do the bottom end because, as you see, it's sealed up. The playhead is probably one that somebody had put in when this was serviced years ago, because otherwise it would be full of gooey belts. And although there were traces of goo here and there aren't any on the mechanism itself. Put a new pinch roller rubber on this because the old one was a bit soft, and there was a lot of gunge and crap wrapped around it, and also around the capstan. Cleaned out the commutator faceplate thing for the automatic stop, so that all seems to work well enough. And as you can see, the other functions appear quite happy. The record playback switch, now that was a bit of a problem because it had started to come apart, so I've had to very carefully put that back together again. And it certainly plays back okay. I can't vouch for record, but as you can hear, it plays back perfectly. Now, it didn't play back perfectly before. The amplifier was fuzzy. James described it as crackly. That could have been the record playback messing about I fixed. But the amplifier was fuzzy, and the reason was this little resistor here burnt up. So with this amplifier you've got two germanium output transistors, and there's left and right, of course, so there's two for each channel. And these resistors appear to be what feed them their power. So one transistor pushes and the other transistor pulls on the speaker code, to put it very crudely, with this arrangement. It's called a push-pull amplifier for obvious reasons, but if for some reason one of the pair of transistors doesn't get its feed, then you're only going to get half of the sound wave, if you see what I mean. It's like an AC sine wave on an oscilloscope, a sound wave. And so you might have only been getting the upper half of it and not the lower half of it, if you see what I mean, because this resistor was burnt out, so the transistor wasn't firing. But anyway, thankfully I had one, and after running this for, I don't know, I suppose I've had it going for an hour, two maybe, the resistor doesn't seem to be getting hot at all, so I barely got the chill off it, which is what I'd expect. Put the tape counter back in. Everything about this was full of crap. It looked as if they'd done, well, I don't know. I just don't know what they do over there on the Isle of Man, but it was in a shocking state. The mechanics were absolutely filthy and all the bearings bone dry. And all around the head and all the linkages underneath the buttons there, that was all full up with gunge and rubbish. And you get used to seeing black gunge from rotting belts at these, but there was surprisingly little of that. There wasn't any in the mechanism, but the gunge and rubbish elsewhere. I can only think that perhaps tiny little people from the Isle of Man did a tiny little TT race on motorbikes round it, you know, judging by the gunge and mess inside. But just to be safe, I've sprayed this switch with Servicol. This is the recording playback switch that changes over. Heads appear alright, as I say, but that pinch roller, that was as rotten as a pear. Now, as regards the casing, there's a different thing again. I've taken the wooden ends of it off, because obviously you can't do what I just did if you have the wood on there. And what I did was put it in very hot water in the sink. and this melted the glue sufficiently, or softened it enough, so I could take the whole top plate off it, because the top plate on this is dented and banged about. Now, whether I can do anything with that, I'm not sure, but a thought did occur to me, and that was that suppose we try and flatten it out as best as we can, and it is covered in scratches and dings and dangs. It's down here under the carpet, actually. Put it there. It is in a heck of a state. You can see how badly twisted it is. And the thought did occur to me, perhaps to carefully cover various parts of this in Fablon, maybe. Do it in wood effect, so you've still got this visible, and the Phillips, and of course your apertures for your tape counter. But yeah, well, perhaps let me know what you think about that, because this is horribly graunched up, isn't it? Now, I think somebody tried to have a go before James did, and certainly before I did, getting this off. And another thing is that it appears to have had something dropped on it, this unit, because it's Araldite City in here. You see there, the top of the cassette compartment, that's been damaged. Down there where the tape counter reset is, that's damaged and split and been glued. And then where the VU meter should go, there should be a clip there, and that's missing. So whatever I do with that, it'll just be a case of stick the VU meter back in, I'm afraid. Probably good quality double-sided carpet tape might be the thing to do with that, because I can't put it back as it was. The fitting just isn't there. But the other thing I noticed was that half the screws that hold this chassis into this casing just weren't there. Most of them are rolling around in the bottom of it. Oh, I don't know. There's certainly some junk out there, isn't there? But yeah, this one is slowly being resuscitated. Anyway, see you soon.